Princess Elena was only 9 years old, but she had the heart of a lion. She lived in the grand palace of Silvermore, a beautiful kingdom surrounded by green hills and blue rivers. Her father, King Robert, had ruled the kingdom for many years with kindness and wisdom. Everyone loved him. But 2 years ago, something sad happened. The queen, Elena's mother, had passed away. The whole kingdom cried for weeks. Elena missed her mother every single day. She missed her mother's warm hugs, her gentle voice, and the way she smelled like roses in the morning. King Robert was lonely after losing his wife. The palace felt empty and cold. Then 1 year ago, he met Lady Victoria. She was beautiful, with shiny black hair and bright green eyes. She smiled a lot and said all the right things. The king fell in love with her quickly. Too quickly, some people said. 6 months ago, King Robert married Lady Victoria. She became the new queen of Silvermore. The kingdom celebrated with parties and fireworks. But not everyone was happy. Princess Elena did not trust her new stepmother. There was something in Lady Victoria's eyes that felt wrong. When the king was not looking, Victoria's smile would disappear. Her voice would turn cold. Lady Victoria wanted everyone to bow to her. She wanted all the respect and all the attention. She walked through the palace like she owned every stone and every person. The servants were scared of her. Even some of the king's advisors stayed quiet when she was near. Today was an important day. The king was holding a grand ceremony in the Great Hall. All the noble families were coming to the palace. It was a tradition that happened every year to celebrate the kingdom's founding. Everyone had to dress in their finest clothes. Princess Elena wore a simple blue dress. It was her mother's favorite color. She kept a small locket around her neck with her mother's picture inside. She touched it often, especially when she felt nervous or sad. The Great Hall was magnificent. Huge windows let the sunlight pour in. Golden chandeliers hung from the ceiling. Hundreds of people filled the room, all dressed in beautiful gowns and suits. The king sat on his throne, looking proud and happy. Lady Victoria sat beside him on the queen's throne, wearing a crown that once belonged to Elena's mother. Elena stood near the front with the other royal children. Her heart felt heavy seeing that crown on Victoria's head. The ceremony began. One by one, the noble families walked forward. They bowed to the king. Then they bowed to Queen Victoria. It was a traditional way to show respect to the royal family. Elena watched as each person bent their head to Victoria. Something inside her burned. This woman was not like her mother. Her mother had been kind and gentle. Her mother had loved the people. But Victoria only loved power and herself. Then came the moment everyone was waiting for. It was time for the royal family members to show their respect to the new queen. Elena's older cousin went first. He bowed deeply. Then her aunt. Then another cousin. All of them bowed. Now it was Elena's turn. The whole room became quiet. Hundreds of eyes turned to watch the young princess. Elena walked forward slowly. Her small shoes made soft sounds on a marble floor. Her heart was beating fast. She could feel everyone staring at her. She reached the throne where Lady Victoria sat. Victoria looked down at her with those cold green eyes. A small smile played on her lips. She expected the little princess to bow, just like everyone else. Elena stood straight. She lifted her chin. She looked directly at Victoria, and she did not bow. The room gasped. People whispered to each other. This had never happened before. Everyone always bowed to Queen. Always. Lady Victoria's face turned red. Her eyes became angry. "Child," she said in a sharp voice, "you will show proper respect. Bow to your queen." Elena's voice was small but clear. "You are not my queen. You wear my mother's crown, but you are not her. My mother earned respect with love. You only demand it with fear." The whispers grew louder. Some people looked shocked. Others looked scared. King Robert stood up from his throne, confused about what to do. He loved his daughter, but he also loved his new wife. He did not know who to support. Victoria stood up too. She was tall and frightening when she was angry. "You will bow to me right now or you will be punished." Elena felt tears in her eyes, but she did not move. She stood her ground. Then something unexpected happened. Captain Marcus, the head of the royal guard, stepped forward. He was a big man with kind eyes and a gray beard. He had protected the royal family for 20 years. He had been loyal to Elena's mother. He had watched Princess Elena grow up since she was a baby. He walked to Elena's side and placed his hand gently on her shoulder. "The princess," he said in a deep, strong voice that filled the whole hall, "has spoken with honor. True respect cannot be forced. It must be earned." The room went completely silent. Queen Victoria stared at Captain Marcus with fury in her eyes. But the captain did not look away. He stood beside the young princess, protecting her, showing everyone that she was right. King Robert looked at his daughter, at his new wife, and at his most trusted guard. The weight of the moment pressed down on him. What would he do? Whose side would he choose? To be continued in Part 2. The silence in the great hall felt like a heavy blanket. Nobody moved. Nobody spoke. Everyone waited to see what King Robert would do. Queen Victoria's face was red with anger. She pointed her finger at Captain Marcus. "How dare you? I am your queen. You work for me. Remove your hand from that child and order her to bow." Captain Marcus did not move. His hand stayed on Princess Elena's shoulder, steady and strong. "I work for the kingdom, your majesty, and I protect what is right." The king walked down the steps from his throne. His footsteps echoed in the quiet hall. His face looked tired and sad. He was caught between two people he cared about, but he had to make a choice. He reached Elena and knelt down so his eyes were level with hers. She could see the pain in his face. "Elena," he said softly, "why do you refuse to bow?" Elena's voice shook, but she answered honestly. "Father, you taught me that a true leader earns respect through kindness and love. You taught me that crowns and titles do not make someone worthy. Actions do. Mother was a true queen because she loved our people. She visited the sick. She helped the poor. She listened to everyone, even the servants." Tears filled her eyes. "Victoria has been here for 6 months. She has never visited the villages. She has never helped anyone. She is mean to the servants. Yesterday, she made the kitchen girl cry because the tea was too cold. She only wants power. She does not deserve the same respect as mother." The king's eyes grew wet. He remembered his first wife, Elena's mother. Everything his daughter said was true. The old queen had been beloved because she truly cared about people. He stood up and turned to face Victoria. "Is this true? Did you make a servant cry yesterday?" Victoria crossed her arms. "That girl was careless. She needed to learn. I am the queen. I should not have to drink cold tea." "She is 12 years old," Captain Marcus said quietly. "Her name is Sarah. She works in the kitchen from sunrise to sunset to help feed her sick mother. She made one mistake, and you screamed at her for 10 minutes. More whispers filled the hall. Many nobles nodded. They had heard stories about Queen Victoria's cruel behavior, but nobody had dared to speak up before. The king looked shocked. "Victoria, I did not know you were treating people this way. They are servants." Victoria snapped. "They exist to serve us. That is their purpose." "No," the king said firmly. "They are people. Every person in this kingdom deserves kindness and dignity. That is what my father taught me. That is what I taught Elena. That is what my first wife believed." Victoria's eyes turned cold. "Your first wife is dead, Robert. I am your wife now. You chose me. You married me. You gave me this crown. Now you will make your daughter show me respect, or everyone will see that you are weak." The king stood very still. In that moment, he saw Victoria clearly for the first time. He saw her selfishness. He saw her cruelty. He had been so lonely after his wife died that he had not looked carefully at who Victoria really was. He had made a terrible mistake. He turned back to Elena. He placed both hands on her small shoulders. "You were right, my daughter. You were brave and honest. I am sorry I did not see the truth sooner." Then he did something that shocked everyone in the room. King Robert bowed to his daughter. The entire hall gasped. A king never bowed to anyone. It was unheard of. You showed more wisdom today than I have shown in a year, the king said to Elena. You reminded me what it means to be a true leader. Thank you. Elena started crying. She hugged her father tightly. I was so scared, father. I know, he whispered, but you were brave anyway. That is real courage. Victoria screamed with rage. This is ridiculous. I will not stand for this. You are embarrassing yourself. Robert, you are embarrassing the throne. The king stood up and faced his wife. His voice was no longer soft. It was the voice of a king who had made a decision. No, Victoria. You have embarrassed the throne with your cruelty and selfishness. I was blind, but now I see clearly. This marriage was a mistake. Victoria laughed, but it was not a happy sound. You cannot get rid of me that easily. I am your queen. I have signed papers. I have rights. You have the title, the king said, but you have never earned the respect that comes with it. I will speak with my advisors. We will find a way to end this marriage properly. But know this, you will never wear my first wife's crown again. That crown belongs to someone worthy. He reached up and took the crown from Victoria's head. She tried to grab it back, but Captain Marcus stepped between them. Do not touch the king, Marcus said in a warning voice. Victoria looked around the hall. Every face was against her. Even the servants who stood along the walls were looking at her with cold eyes. She had made too many enemies. She had no friends here. You will regret this, she hissed at the king. All of you will regret this. She turned and stormed out of the great hall. Her footsteps were loud and angry. The big door slammed shut behind her. For a moment, nobody moved. Then one person started clapping. It was an old duke in the back of the room. Then another person clapped. Then another. Soon the entire hall was filled with applause. They were clapping for Princess Elena. They were clapping for Captain Marcus. They were clapping for the king, who had finally made the right choice. Elena looked up at her father. What happens now? The king smiled sadly. Now we fix the mistakes I have made. And we make sure that anyone who leads our people does it with kindness, not cruelty. He looked at Captain Marcus. Thank you, old friend. You have served this family with honor for 20 years. Today you prove once again why you are the most trusted man in this kingdom. Marcus bowed deeply. I serve the truth, your majesty. Always. But outside the palace walls, Victoria was not finished. She stood in the courtyard, her fists clenched. She had powerful friends. She had secrets. She had plans. This was not over. Not by a long way. 3 days had passed since the ceremony. The palace felt different now. The servants smiled more. They talked in normal voices, instead of whispers. Lady Victoria was gone, and everyone felt lighter and happier. But Princess Elena could not shake a bad feeling. She stood by her bedroom window, looking out at the palace gardens. Something felt wrong. Captain Marcus had told her that Victoria left the kingdom. She took her belongings and went back to her family's estate in the north. But Elena did not believe Victoria would give up so easily. That woman wanted power too much. There was a knock on Elena's door. Come in, she said. Sarah, the young kitchen girl, entered nervously. She carried a tray with tea and cookies. Your Highness, I brought you afternoon tea. Elena smiled at her. Thank you, Sarah. And please, you can call me Elena when we are alone. How is your mother feeling? Sarah's eyes lit up. Much better. The doctor that the king sent has been helping her. We are so grateful. After Victoria left, King Robert had learned about all the servants who were suffering. He immediately sent doctors and gave them extra money to help their families. He wanted to fix his mistakes. Sarah put down the tray and turned to leave, but then she stopped. She looked nervous. Princess? Elena, there is something I need to tell you, but I am scared. Elena walked over to her. You can tell me anything, Sarah. I promise you are safe. Sarah took a deep breath. 2 nights ago, I cannot sleep. I went to the kitchen to get some water. On my way back, I saw a man in dark clothes sneaking through the hallway. He did not see me, so I hid behind a statue. What did he do? Elena asked. He went into the king's study. He was there for maybe 10 minutes. Then he left the same way he came in. I saw his face when he passed by a torch. It was Lord Blackwood. Elena's heart started beating faster. Lord Blackwood was one of the king's advisors. He was also Victoria's uncle. Elena had never liked him. He always watched people with cold, calculating eyes. Did you tell anyone? Elena asked. Sarah shook her head. I was too afraid. Lord Blackwood is powerful. If he found out I saw him, he might hurt my mother. But after what you did at the ceremony, standing up to Queen Victoria, you gave me courage. I thought you should know. Elena hugged the girl. You did the right thing. Thank you for trusting me. I will handle this carefully. Your mother will be safe, I promise. After Sarah left, Elena knew she had to act fast. She ran through the palace corridors to find Captain Marcus. She found him in the guards' training yard, watching the young soldiers practice. Captain Marcus, she called. I need to speak with you. It is urgent. They went to a private corner. Elena told him everything Sarah had said. Marcus's face grew serious. Lord Blackwood, he said quietly, I never trusted that man, but he is clever. He has always been careful to appear loyal to your father. We need to check father's study, Elena said. If Blackwood took something or left something, we need to find it. Marcus nodded. The king is in a council meeting right now. We have time. Come with me. They walked quickly to the king's study. Marcus checked the hallway to make sure no one was watching. Then they slipped inside and closed the door. The study was a large room filled with books, maps, and important papers. A huge desk sat in the middle, covered with documents. Where would they even start looking? What would Blackwood want? Elena wondered aloud. Marcus walked around the room, checking everything carefully. Information, secrets, something he could use against the king. Elena searched the desk. She looked through papers about taxes, trade agreements, and letters from other kingdoms. Nothing seemed unusual. Then she noticed something strange. One of the drawers had a small scratch mark on it that looked fresh. Captain, look at this. Marcus examined the drawer. He pulled it open. It looked empty. But when he pressed on the bottom, he felt something. There's a false bottom. He carefully removed the wooden panel. Underneath was a small space. Inside was a letter with a red wax seal. The seal had been broken. Someone had already read it. Marcus picked up the letter and read it. His face turned pale. Dear God, he whispered. What is it? Elena asked. This letter is from the king of North Valley. It contains secret military plans. It talks about troop movements and defense strategies. If this information fell into the wrong hands, our kingdom could be attacked. We would not be ready. Elena felt cold fear in her stomach. Black would read this. He knows our secrets. Worse, Marcus said. He probably made a copy. He will sell this information to our enemies, or use it to blackmail your father. They heard footsteps in the hallway outside. Marcus quickly put the letter back and closed the drawer. They hid behind a large bookshelf just as the door opened. Lord Blackwood walked in. He was a thin man with gray hair and sharp eyes. He moved like a snake, smooth and quiet. He went straight to the desk and opened the same drawer. He checked to make sure the letter was still there. Then he smiled, a cold, cruel smile. Perfect, he said to himself. Tomorrow, when the king refuses Victoria's demands, I will show him this. I will tell him I found it in the trash, and that servants might have seen it. He will have no choice but to take Victoria back and give her whatever she wants. Otherwise, I will spread these secrets to every enemy kingdom around us. He laughed quietly. Poor King Robert. He thinks removing Victoria was the end of his troubles. It was only the beginning. Elena's hands were shaking. She looked at Captain Marcus. His jaw was tight with anger. Blackwood left the study, still chuckling to himself. After they were sure he was gone, Elena and Marcus came out from their hiding place. We have to tell father right now, Elena said. No, Marcus said slowly. If we tell him now, Blackwood will know someone was spying on him. He might do something desperate. We need to be smart about this. Then what do we do? Elena asked. Marcus looked at the young princess. We set a trap. We make Blackwood think his plan is working. Then we catch him in the act. Elena felt scared. This was dangerous. But she thought about her father, about the kingdom, about all the people who could be hurt if Blackwood succeeded. "Tell me what to do," she said. "I will help." Captain Marcus smiled. "You are braver than most grown soldiers, I know. Princess, here is what we will do." The next morning, Princess Elena woke up early. Her stomach was full of butterflies. Today was the day they would catch Lord Blackwood. She was nervous, but she knew they had to do this. Captain Marcus had explained the plan last night. It was simple but dangerous. They would let Blackwood think his plan was working. Then, at the right moment, they would reveal the truth in front of everyone. Elena got dressed and went down to breakfast. Her father, King Robert, was already sitting at the table. He looked tired. He had dark circles under his eyes. "Good morning, father," Elena said, kissing his cheek. "Good morning, my dear," the king said with a weak smile. "I did not sleep well. I keep thinking about Victoria. Perhaps I was too harsh. Perhaps I should give her another chance." Elena's heart jumped. This was exactly what Blackwood wanted. He must have already started whispering doubts into her father's ear. "Father," Elena said carefully, "do you really believe Victoria's changed?" The king sighed. "Lord Blackwood came to see me yesterday evening. He said Victoria has been crying every day. She regrets her behavior. She wants to apologize to you and to everyone she hurt. He thinks I should at least hear what she has to say." Elena held her tongue. She wanted to scream that Blackwood was lying, that he was a traitor. But Marcus had told her to stay calm and follow the plan. "If you think it is right, father," she said quietly, "I trust your judgment." The king looked surprised. He had expected Elena to argue. "Really? You would be willing to see her again?" "I want you to be happy, father," Elena said. It was true, even though she knew Victoria would never make him truly happy. Later that morning, a message arrived at the palace. It was from Victoria. She asked to meet with the king at noon in the throne room. She said she wanted to apologize publicly and ask for forgiveness. The king agreed. He sent word to all the nobles and advisors to come to the throne room. He wanted witnesses to hear Victoria's apology. Captain Marcus pulled Elena aside in the hallway. "Everything is going according to plan," he whispered. "I have my best guards hidden around the throne room. When Blackwood makes his move, we will be ready. What if something goes wrong?" Elena asked. Marcus put his hand on her shoulder. "Then we fight. But trust me, princess, we have prepared well. Justice will win today." At noon, the throne room filled with people. All the nobles were there, dressed in their finest clothes. The king's advisors stood near the throne. Lord Blackwood was among them, looking calm and confident. He kept glancing at the king with a small smile. Elena stood to the side with the other royal family members. Her heart was pounding so hard she thought everyone could hear it. The big doors opened. Victoria walked in. She looked different. She wore a simple gray dress instead of her usual fancy gowns. Her hair was not styled. She looked humble and sad. She was a good actress, Elena thought. Victoria walked to the center of the room and knelt before the king. "Your Majesty," she said in a soft voice, "I have come to beg your forgiveness. I was cruel and selfish. I did not deserve to be your queen. I treated people badly. I was wrong about everything." She turned to Elena. "Princess Elena, you were right about me. You saw the truth when everyone else was blind. I am sorry for being mean to you. I am sorry for trying to replace your mother. No one could ever replace her." Some people in the room looked moved by her words. They whispered to each other. Maybe she really had changed, they thought. The king stood up from his throne. He looked confused. Part of him wanted to believe Victoria. Part of him remembered her cruelty. This was the moment Lord Blackwood had been waiting for. He stepped forward. "Your Majesty," Blackwood said smoothly, "I believe Queen Victoria speaks from her heart. She has learned from her mistakes. Perhaps this is a time for mercy and forgiveness. After all, is that not what a great king does?" Then he lowered his voice, but made sure others could hear. "Besides, you would not want any unfortunate secrets to become public. That would be bad for the kingdom." The threat was clear. The king's face went pale. He understood. Blackwood was blackmailing him. Elena saw Captain Marcus nod to his guards. It was time. Marcus stepped forward. Lord Blackwood, what secrets are you talking about? Blackwood smiled coldly. I do not know what you mean, Captain. I was simply advising the king. You are a liar, Elena said loudly. Everyone turned to stare at her. Victoria's eyes went wide. Blackwood's smile disappeared. Princess Elena, Blackwood said with false kindness, you are young. You do not understand these matters. I understand perfectly, Elena said. She walked to the center of the room. Her voice was clear and strong. 3 nights ago, you snuck into my father's study. You stole a secret letter about military plans. You planned to use it to blackmail the king into taking Victoria back. Gasps filled the room. Blackwood's face turned red. That is a lie. Who told you such nonsense? I saw you, Captain Marcus said. Princess Elena, and I watched you check the letter yesterday. We heard you talking to yourself about your plan. You have no proof. Blackwood shouted. Marcus smiled. Actually, we do. He gestured to a guard who brought forward a wooden box. Inside was a letter. We removed this from the study last night. We also set up guards to watch the room. This morning, you went back to check on it. You were seen by 6 different guards. Blackwood's face went from red to white. He looked around the room like a trapped animal. And there is more, Elena said. She turned to Victoria. You were never sorry, were you? This whole apology was planned. You and your uncle worked together. Victoria stood up, and her humble expression disappeared. Her eyes turned cold and hard. So what if we did? Robert is a weak king. He lets a child tell him what to do. He bows to his own daughter. This kingdom needs a strong ruler, someone who is not afraid of making hard choices. Someone like you, the king said quietly. His voice was sad but firm. Someone who lies and threatens and steals secrets? That is not strength, Victoria. That is cowardice. He looked at his guards. Arrest them both. Lord Blackwood for treason and theft. Lady Victoria for conspiracy. The guards moved forward. Blackwood tried to run, but Captain Marcus blocked his path. The old captain was faster than he looked. He grabbed Blackwood's arm and twisted it behind his back. You will pay for this. Blackwood screamed. I have powerful friends. You cannot do this to me. Your powerful friends will not help you now. The king said, treason is the highest crime. You will face trial. Victoria did not fight. She just stood there with hatred in her eyes. She looked at Elena. You ruined everything, you little brat. You should have just bowed. Elena walked up to her. She was not afraid anymore. My mother taught me to stand up for what is right. You could never understand that. Real queens do not demand respect. They earn it. The guards took Blackwood and Victoria away. Their screaming voices echoed through the halls until the doors closed behind them. The throne room was silent. Then the king walked down to Elena. He knelt before his daughter once again. You saved the kingdom today, he said. You and Captain Marcus. You were brave and smart. I am so proud of you. Elena hugged her father tight. We did it together. Father, all of us. The king stood and faced his people. Let this be a lesson to everyone. True leadership is not about power or fear. It is about courage, honesty, and standing up for what is right. My daughter taught me that. The room erupted in cheers. People clapped and shouted. They celebrated Princess Elena and Captain Marcus. They celebrated their king, who had found his strength again. But as the celebration continued, Captain Marcus pulled Elena aside. His face was serious. What is wrong? Elena asked. We won. They are arrested. Yes, Marcus said slowly. But Blackwood said he has powerful friends. We captured him, but his allies are still out there. They might try to rescue him. Or worse, they might try to hurt you for stopping their plans. Elena felt a chill run down her spine. What should we do? We stay alert, Marcus said. The battle is won, but the war might not be over. That night, Princess Elena could not sleep. She kept thinking about Captain Marcus's warning. Blackwood's powerful friends were still out there somewhere. What if they tried something? She got out of bed and walked to her window. The moon was full and bright. The palace gardens looked peaceful and beautiful. But Elena knew danger could be hiding anywhere. A soft knock came at her door. "Princess, it is Marcus. May I come in?" Elena opened the door. The captain looked worried. "What is wrong?" she asked. "One of my guards just reported something strange," Marcus said. 3 men in dark clothes were seen near the east wall of the palace. They disappeared before we could catch them. I think someone is planning to break Blackwood out of the dungeon tonight. Elena's heart raced. "We have to stop them." "I have double the guards around the dungeon," Marcus said. "But I wanted to warn you. Stay in your room tonight. Lock your door. Do not open it for anyone except me or your father." After Marcus left, Elena locked her door. She sat on her bed, but she could not relax. Something felt wrong. Why would Blackwood's friends try to break him out when the palace was on high alert? It did not make sense. Unless the escape was not the real plan. Elena jumped up. What if the escape attempt was just a distraction? What if the real target was something else? Or someone else? She thought about who would be most dangerous to Blackwood's allies. Her father, the king. If something happened to him, the kingdom would fall into chaos. In the confusion, Blackwood could escape easily. Elena ran to her door and unlocked it. She had to warn her father. She ran through the dark hallways toward the king's chambers. But when she turned a corner, she saw something that made her freeze. A man in dark clothes was standing outside her father's door. He was trying to pick the lock. Elena's mind raced. She had no weapon. She had no guards with her. She was just a 9-year-old girl. But her father was in danger. She took a deep breath and did the bravest thing she had ever done. She screamed as loud as she could. "Guards! Help! Assassin!" The man in dark clothes spun around. His eyes went wide with surprise. He had not expected a child to be in the hallway. He started running toward Elena. Elena ran too. She ran as fast as her legs could carry her. She heard the man's heavy footsteps behind her, getting closer and closer. Then, suddenly, Captain Marcus appeared from a side hallway. He tackled the man in dark clothes to the ground. 2 guards rushed in to help. They held the man down. More guards came running from every direction. The king burst out his room, wearing his night clothes and holding a sword. "Elena!" he shouted. "Are you hurt?" Elena ran to her father and hugged him tight. She was shaking. "I am okay. He was trying to get into your room. I think he wanted to hurt you." Marcus pulled the mask off the man's face. It was someone Elena did not recognize. A stranger with cold eyes and a scar on his cheek. "Who sent you?" Marcus demanded. The man said nothing. He just smiled. "Search him," the king ordered. The guards found a dagger hidden in the man's cloak. They also found a small bottle. Marcus opened it carefully and smelled it. His face went dark. "Poison," he said. "Strong enough to kill within minutes." The king's face turned pale. If Elena had not screamed, if she had stayed in her room like Marcus told her, he would be dead now. Marcus looked at the man again. "Take him to the dungeon. Put him in a separate cell from Blackwood. I want guards watching both of them every second." As the guards dragged the assassin away, more soldiers came running up. "Captain, we caught the other 2 men at the east wall. They surrendered without a fight." Marcus nodded. "Good. It was a diversion, just as I suspected. The real attack was here." The king pulled Elena close. His hands were shaking. "You saved my life, my brave girl. If you had not been here—" "I had to protect you, father," Elena said. "You taught me that family protects family. Always." The king had tears in his eyes. He picked up Elena and held her like he used to when she was very small. "Your mother would be so proud of you. I am so proud of you." That night, no one in the palace slept much. Guards patrolled every hallway. Marcus questioned the 3 captured men until sunrise. Finally, one of them talked. He told them everything. Lord Blackwood had powerful friends in the northern kingdoms. They had paid these men to kill the king. With the king dead and the kingdom in chaos, They planned to invade Silvermore and take it over. Blackwood and Victoria were supposed to rule as puppets for the Northern Kings. But the plan had failed because of one brave little princess. The next morning, King Robert called everyone to the throne room again. All the nobles, advisors, and servants gathered. This time, there was no ceremony. The king had something important to say. "My people," he began, "last night, assassins tried to kill me. They were working with Lord Blackwood and the northern kingdoms. They wanted to destroy our kingdom and take our freedom." Shocked gasps filled the room. People looked scared. "But they failed," the king continued. "They failed because of the courage of one person. My daughter, Princess Elena." Elena stood beside her father. She felt embarrassed with everyone looking at her. "Elena could have stayed safe in her room," the king said, "but she risked her own life to save mine. She showed more bravery than most soldiers. She has shown me what true leadership looks like." He turned to Elena and knelt before her once more. "I have been a fool. I was lonely and made bad choices. I trusted the wrong people. I almost destroyed everything my family built. But you, my daughter, you saved us all. Not once, but twice." He stood up and took off a special medal from around his neck. It was a medal of the Silver Lion, the highest honor in the kingdom. It was usually given to generals who won great battles. "I give you this medal," the king said, placing it around Elena's neck, "for your courage, your wisdom, and your pure heart. You are the true hero of Silvermore." The room exploded with cheers. Everyone stood and clapped. They chanted Elena's name. Many people had tears in their eyes. Captain Marcus stepped forward. "Princess Elena, I have served this kingdom for 20 years. I have fought in many battles, but I have never seen anyone as brave as you. It has been my greatest honor to stand by your side." Elena felt tears running down her cheeks. She looked at all the happy faces around her. She touched the locket around her neck that held her mother's picture. "Thank you, Mother," she whispered, "for teaching me to be brave, for teaching me to stand up for what is right." In the weeks that followed, Lord Blackwood and his men were put on trial. They were found guilty of treason. They were sent to prison for the rest of their lives. Victoria was sent back to her family in the north. She was never allowed to return to Silvermore. The king became a better ruler. He listened to his people more. He visited the villages and helped the poor, just like his first wife used to do. He never married again. He said he did not need a queen when he had Elena. Princess Elena grew up to be a wise and kind leader. People called her the brave princess. When she was older, her father made her the official heir to the throne. She would be queen one day. Captain Marcus continued to serve the royal family. He trained Elena in swordsmanship and strategy. He became like a grandfather to her. Sarah, the kitchen girl, was given a better position in the palace. Her mother recovered from her illness. Sarah and Elena remained friends for the rest of their lives. The kingdom of Silvermore grew stronger and more peaceful. And whenever people told stories about the royal family, they always spoke of the day a 9-year-old princess stood up to a cruel queen, exposed a traitor, and saved her father's life. She taught everyone an important lesson. True courage does not come from being big or strong. It comes from having a good heart and standing up for what is right, even when you are afraid. Princess Elena looked at the medal of the Silver Lion hanging on her wall. She smiled. Her mother would be proud. Her kingdom was safe, and she had learned that even the smallest person can make the biggest difference.